In this video, I'm going to break down the exact mindset that it takes to break into tech sales at 18. And this is what I use to receive multiple six-figure jobs before I even finish high school. Right, with no school, no degree, while competing with thousands of other applicants that were way more experienced with me. Alright, this is not some manifestation or some fluff. This is real actionable advice. Because at the end of the day, if you're watching some video and you're not actually changing your behavior as a result, then it's just productive procrastination. So make sure you do your due diligence, take some notes, put them in the comments, ask me any questions you might have, and let's jump straight into it. We're going to cover the mindset behind not going to college, what it actually takes to stand out and in the corporate world without a degree, and it is possible, like you've seen, I did it. Alright, the straight line system and how to expect failure and plan ahead of time. And we're going to start with the mindset behind not going to college. Okay, you need to understand this is a good thing. Right, you're going to be judged a ton and it's going to mess with you, right? Because I put so much work into receiving these offers to have such a good head start in life. But then I was still so embarrassed when it came down to tell people, to tell family, friends, teachers. But you need to understand this is a good thing. You're going to have an insane head start in your career, right? I literally am probably ahead for most people or where they finish college. I'm already making six figures, right? Most people, even after grad school, their starting salary is probably less than that. And there's so much room for potential, right? In 4 years, I'm going to be so much more ahead of where I am now, right? I'm going to be making high six figures. And most people go to college are not going to do that. So not only are you already in a better position, you also have a head start. And it's going to save you not only just those 4 years of your life where you're probably going to be indoctrinated, you're going to go into huge amounts of debts, but you're not actually going to progress except for socially much, right? You might learn a little bit about what you want to do, but at the end of the day, right, like my dad used to tell me this all the time, when he hired new grads, they have no idea what they're doing. They're basically assuming that their knowledge is absolutely zero. Okay, that's where you are right now, but you're going to learn on the job, right? You're going to get paid to learn instead of paying to learn, right? So by all means, this is a good thing, but that doesn't mean that people are not going to judge you. So many will, and especially your parents, right? Your parents did not expect this, right? For the last 18, however many years, they expected you to grow, especially if you're good in school. You always did the right thing. They're not expecting you to not want to go to college. And when they hear that that's what you want to do, they're like, where did I go wrong? They're a little disappointed in themselves, to be fully honest, and their status is going to go down in their social groups with their siblings and their family. When they talk to their parents, their status is going to go down when you don't go to college. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, right? You should be selfish in that way, I guess, and put yourself first, but you need to be able to articulate that to them, right? You can even say it's a gap year first, to be honest. That's what I did first. And eventually kind of work around that once you actually do find the good opportunities. But it's really essential that you understand it from their shoes, right? But at the same time, make it clear, this is my plan, this is what I want to do. And I was able to find some success in it once you actually do. And that's when you're able to actually stand up for yourself after you actually make it work. Like for me, I was still doing all my college applications, my SATs. I was studying. I got a 1460 and did all my college essays. And then I did all my job applications. I got in, and then I decided to let them know that I don't want to go to college. And that was one tough conversation. But you need to understand that at the end of the day, if you have different versions of what success is, you're bound to disappoint either them or yourself. There's no way around it. If the end result doesn't look the same for both of you guys, you're bound to disappoint one of you, and there's no way around it. So now my question to you is, are you going to disappoint them or disappoint yourself? Because even if everything goes well the other way, if you do good within the system, right? You study well, you become a doctor, you make six figures, you work your butt off every single day, every night, you sleep deprived. Is that something that you're going to want to do? No, you probably want to be an entrepreneur realistically, right? You want to be able to work your own business. And this tech sales is the best career for that by far. You're going to get paid good starting out. You're going to learn actual skills that are going to help you where when you're an entrepreneur, when you have your own business, and it has the work-life balance that allows you to actually have a business on the side and then grow it enough to where it replaces your income. So now I think by now you understand it only makes sense for you to skip college. I mean, if you had the offer right now and you had a college tuition, so here you pay so much, you go in debt for 4 years to learn before you can actually start. Or on the other hand, you have the offer right now. I think most people would pick if they actually get six figures and they see that like you can easily make way more, like millions in it over time, but like progress to make a few $100,000 as well pretty fast in a couple of years. I think most people would pick that one. So now with that in mind, let's go over what it actually takes to stand out without degrees. Because you're going to be competing with so many people. Like from the interview process to the actual job, you're going to need to stand out, at least at first. Right? You need to understand that people don't care. Like, if you're not going to go to college, if you're anything in life, in the real world, outside of the school education system, people just don't care. Right? Like literally when I interview people, I mean when I got interviewed, they're literally just going through the motions. I mean, and it's very clear to see what company fits you and what company you actually work in with, you want to work for. But like interviewers are literally just going through the script. Some of them just do not care. They're just reading off the side. Like they didn't even realize I was in high school until halfway through the interview because they didn't even open my resume. It's literally the first thing there. And that's how you get the interviews usually, for to some extent. And then it's your job to articulate it and stand out so much that they still want to keep talking to you. But especially in tech sales, which is why it's the best industry by far, they just want someone who's going to make them more money. Everybody has quota. The way you pay, you have your base salary from it 60K, and then every time I book a meeting, I get more money. Right? So I can actually control it. It's not capped. But at the same time, my manager depends on how well I do. They want people that they believe can make them more money. Their boss wants the same thing. It's literally just numbers. And that's why it's so great, because once you are at the job, they can't like be like, oh, he's 18, he can't do well, because they see the numbers. If you're hitting your numbers, you're good, man. And you can easily exceed that. And that's why it's such a better career than everything else, because you're not going to be stuck at the same spot for so many years. Because if you're hitting your number, if you're exceeding it, you're bound to get a promotion at some point. Usually in most companies, there's even like a specific number. You hit this number, all right, you got promoted. And that's why I love it so much. And I mean, eventually people are not even going to know that you don't have a degree. Like when you're 40, do you think when you go to a job interview, they're going to ask you why you studied that much? Maybe a little bit, but they're going to talk about your experience way more. Sometimes they're not even going to realize. I mean, I had job interviews. They didn't even realize I didn't go to college until a couple interviews into the round, a couple rounds. And by that point, they already wanted to hire me anyway. But starting out and always in life, you're going to need to go the extra mile. To land the interviews, you're going to need to go the extra mile. You're going to need to be creative to stand out. Once you actually have the job, once you get the interview even, you're going to need to be creative. You're going to need to go the extra mile to work hard. Once you get the job, you're going to need to go the extra mile. You're going to need to be creative. You're going to need to put in the work, and you're going to need to produce results. That's the only way around it. There's no way around it, I mean. Okay, you're just going to need to do what it takes. Okay, that's what it takes to truly stand out. When I was doing the interviews, I did so many just to make sure that I'm good at interviewing. I understood exactly what they want, and beyond just answering their questions, just like the psychology behind it, behind actually connecting with them. I mean, the best interview I had by far at one of the companies that I received an offer, and the one I'm going to go to. I actually had an interview with the CEO. It's a smaller startup. He has 80 people working. It's been around for about 8 years. So I ended up interviewing with the CEO, and that was my best interview by far. I just genuinely connected with him. And that's something that takes practice. I mean, you're probably awkward right now. Your first few interviews, you're not going to expect it, but you're literally going to go like this under the table. You're going to shake. It takes time and it takes practice. Okay, so now that you understand this, I want to go over the straight line system. Okay, this is super good, and that's what allowed me to stay super focused, super motivated, super not distracted. Hopefully, that's a word. Throughout the entire interview process. Okay, I think of it like this. Here, you got the offer. Here is where you are right now. You're starting out. You're going to have a straight line. And there's going to be checkpoints. Certain points that you need to go through. In between starting and getting a job. There's going to be making your resume. There's going to be getting interviews. There's going to be passing interviews, then passing the take-home tasks, and then negotiating. You're going to go like this eventually, but it's not going to be that easy. You're going to make your resume, okay? And I don't want you to think about anything else beyond that. Just focus on your resume, okay? You can find some things to help you. Put a few hours, maybe a day on it, and that's it. Maybe have a few other people review it. Feel free to DM me if you want me to review it. I'm more than happy to do it. And then after you do that, that's when you can start focusing on getting the interviews. But the tricky thing is, and you'd be so surprised, most people get here, they focus on getting the interviews, and they still tweak the resume. That doesn't matter. Once you see that it works, if it's good enough to get you the interviews, that doesn't matter anymore. Right? So once I got the interviews, even if I failed them, my resume was good enough to get me the interviews. What I needed to work on is get better at interviewing. And that happens through doing it more, but also doing so much practice. I went over all of the questions. I recorded my interviews. I went over them. I listened to myself. But I didn't redo my resume. And the same thing goes after that. Like after that, after you're so good at interviewing, and I mean, you're going to be so good at interviewing by the end of this, because you're going to do so many of them, because it takes a lot. Like every time that you have a checkpoint, it takes a lot. Like the resume is probably faster because it's just words, but it takes like a couple of days, a few hours. And then like landing interviews, it takes time. It's going to take so much trial and error. You're going to need to tweak your outreach, because you're going to be outreaching to every single place. You're going to try to get internal referrals. There's more videos on that on my channel by now. But it's going to take a lot of trial and error until you're actually able to pass that. So don't make it harder and actually go back. Continue to go through it. And once you actually do it and you do it good, they're going to freaking love you. The fact that you're 18 doing this, you're going to stand out automatically. You're going to, like, one of the interviewers literally told me, the fact that you're doing this is incredible, and I want to know you on a personal level, and I want to invite you to the next interview. And I ended up getting that offer for 110. Same thing on a job. If you crush your numbers and you're 18, they're going to notice you. They're not going to be able to ignore you. And that's like the beauty of it. I think by the end, once I got so good at interviewing, I just stood out at every single company. I mean, I was scheduling the next round interview before I even got off the call with them. They just wanted to move me on automatically. But that took a lot of time. I was doing over 10 interviews a week, over 5 a day sometimes. So once you find what works, just keep doing it. Keep doing it and keep doing it. No need to tweak what works. Do more of what works and less of what doesn't work. And that's how you get ahead. And that's how you do it. You basically follow a proven path that you realize as you go, because you're competing with so many people. There's literally thousands of people, and even after college, most people are not able to find jobs right now. It's insane. Like they'll be in college, get all that debt, and then they still can't find jobs. It's like, how does that even work? Don't ask me. But you're competing with those people. They have a lot more experience than you. But if you're able to interview better, if you're able to have a better connection, if you're able to leave a better impression, then you 1000% can do it. I mean, I did it multiple times in less than 2 months. Sorry about that. But once you realize exactly what they're looking for, then you're bound to eventually get it. That's why you need to do so many interviews, and you need to understand that you're going to fail. And that's why when you start, you're going to specifically and strategically apply to companies that you just don't care about first, or like you don't care about as much. You might even not actually want to work there, but take every single interview that you can get. When I was doing 10 interviews a week, I probably cared about 3 of those companies. But it was just practice. It was just so much reps, because I need to be so much better than everybody else if I'm going to do this without a degree and young. And by doing 10 interviews a week, you will be better than other people. They're doing maybe a few and not consistently every single week. by all means, do your research. Try to see on YouTube. Maybe check out my other videos where I go more in depth about what it actually takes to get interviews, to pass them, to actually get the offers, to negotiate all of that. But none of that is going to work unless you put in the work and the reps and you get your own experience, to trial and error. There's going to be things that you need to figure out on yourself, because there's only so much that I can actually pass on to you through this video. But you need to understand it's possible. You're going to fail so much, but all you need is one offer that's actually good to absolutely change the entire trajectory of your life. I mean, I did it. I did it multiple times. And this is insane, right? I've not heard of anybody else that did it, to be honest, this young or straight out of high school. But it is definitely possible, right? Feel free to DM me, comment if you have any sort of doubt. But it's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to take a lot of trial and error. I applied to countless of companies that got rejected so many times, but it taught me so much. And sometimes it's literally just out of your control. But if you do want to expedite your research process, have a better understanding of what it really takes, and just follow proven methods that you already know work, then feel free to apply directly below to work with me one-on-one, and I'll reach out to anyone who's a good fit, but only do that if you're actually serious. Right? This takes a lot of time, and this is not for anyone. I think this is something that I should have added to the video. This is not for everyone. Most people are not going to be able to do it. Most people are going to face their rejection, and they're not going to be able to even keep going through, keep interviewing when they get so many rejections on a daily basis. But that's the reality of working in sales anyway, to be honest. You're going to get rejected every single day, and you need to get used to it. You need to embrace the uncomfortable. But if you are truly serious about it, if you truly know that you want to be exceptional with life, if you want to be a top performer in whatever it is that you do, then this is the right career for you, that actually rewards it, that actually allows you to become an entrepreneur one day. So go ahead, apply to work with me directly if you're interested in that. And if not, watch another video, and I'll see you soon.